Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is HALIMATUS SAADIAH BINTI ZAINAL ABIDIN. So basically, today me and my group will be presenting upon the concept of liberalism. So basically, before we jump deep into the concept of liberalism, we must first understand what is liberal. So basically, liberal means the willingness to accept other people's ideas and perspective. And there are several countries in this world that practices the concept of liberalism in their governance, such as United States of America, United Kingdom, European countries, and also parts of ASEAN countries. So when we talk about liberalism, it is a way in maintaining peace and harmony within a country, where people perspective will be accepted and taken into account by the government and also in the diplomatic approaches. And we must first understand that there are two approach in liberalism, which is the classical approach and also modern approach. So basically, what is the classical approach? The classical approach mostly something that are not extreme but still very impactful to the nation, such as the freedom of speech, which is one's right, and also freedoms to practice their own religions, such as there are Muslims, there are Christians, and also Jewish, and also other religion in this world. And moving on to what is modern liberalism. Modern liberalism is much more explicit and extreme, where such as the same-sex marriage, women's empowerment, and also environment protection. So basically, all of these approaches in the modern era happened in various countries in this world. But unfortunately, in Malaysia, the same-sex marriage was not accepted, because since Malaysia practices Islam as the federal religion, so basically Islam doesn't allow any same-sex marriage or relationship. So moving on to the second part of the slide.
Assalamualaikum. My name is NURUL binti AHMAD, and I will presenting the factor of liberalism. Okay, the factor of liberalism can be seen. It is to respect the right of others. Okay, everyone has their own right, preferences, and beliefs. Okay, they have their own interest in deciding what they want. Therefore, in achieving peace in the society, they see that the minority is also have a human that has their own rights that need to be considered. Okay, the special privilege that can be accepted if it does not cause any hatred among the society. In this context, that is why the liberalism reject the realism concept, which the realists promoting their own national interest. Okay, one of the example can be seen LGBT, where it is being accepted by the social liberalism nowadays. As an information, social liberalism is one of the liberalism types that happen today, which this kind of minority rights are not being accepted in the traditional liberalism. It is because that the LGBT are not being accepted by the most religious in the world. Okay, the other factor of liberalism is to avoid war. Okay, why does liberalism can avoid war? Okay. It is because liberalism adheres to the principle of freedom. Okay, by providing freedom in the society, it believes that it can achieve peace in the society, where at the same time it also can produce a good productivity, which also can contribute towards the economic development. Okay, without hatred among each other, the war could not have occurred. Okay, by providing a freedom, let's say in terms of speech, freedom of speech. Okay, the society can have a contribution in the decision-making process, which may develop a perpetual peace. Okay, as an example, it can be seen in the democracy system. Democracy is one of the government systems that contributes peace and security, which living up on settling the conflicts.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Alia Syazwani binti BAKAR. So I will continue for the next factors or issue of liberalism. For the next factors or issues of liberalism is to promote open democracy. So what is actually open democracy? Open democracy is actually based in the United Kingdom. So they want to apply. Open democracy is actually the global media platform that control or controlling the world affairs, the cultures, the ideas. So what can we relate with the liberalism is liberalism means free. So the country that using liberalism want to make sure that the people in the countries or the people in the parties free from any control, from control from any parties, from any country or any people. So they want to freely voice out their opinion. They want to make sure that the ideas and the culture, the attitude and the affairs are from themselves, not from others, and they are not forced to doing that. So the example of country that are using open democracy is actually United Kingdom. United Kingdom is actually the base of open democracy. So the issue of open democracy is actually the factors why liberalism is exists. For the next issues or factors in the liberalism is emphasizing on international cooperation. So what does it mean by emphasizing on international cooperation? This is actually build a good relationship. They want from other countries to gain a bit the same benefits. So for example, ASEAN is the association that ASEAN, all of the association from all the ASEAN country. So we can take the example if all of the ASEAN countries are setting a one goal and they achieve to that goal, they will gain the same benefits that give a benefit to every country, so that it can fulfill fulfill the satisfaction for every country. Besides, emphasizing in other words is actually the cooperation from every country. So basically the country that apply liberalism, they can actually survive. They can actually survive from they can actually survive if they work together, and they will gain the same benefits. So they have to make sure that they all practice the same way, and they all practice the principles of cooperation. They must cooperate in order to achieve some goal, and they need to cooperate because they want to gain the same benefits. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Some of country that has practiced liberalism is Switzerland and Sweden. The Switzerland country has universal healthcare, but it is implemented as a mandatory insurance system. It means that everyone has to be covered by a policy, and the government has decided the minimum cover that every insurance company has to provide. All people must have to be covered by insurance. The people cannot opt out of paying even if they are healthy. Next, people in Switzerland also believe in full employment. There is a welfare system that is quite generous if they are in difficulty situation, but it is geared towards getting them back into work. If they are unable to work and in financial difficulties, the state will appoint an officer to take control of their bank accounts, bills, and handle those on their behalf. so they might lose control of their own money if that's happened. It is because the state wants them to only use the financial to important things, not for the other things. Therefore, the state need to control their money. The next point is maintain privacy. In this country, people cannot make much noise on a Sunday or late at night, such as hammering, like playing loud music or cutting the grass. That would not be acceptable, and excess noise can make a visit from the police. It is to make sure that every Sunday they can spend time and relax with their family. Furthermore, most stores are closed on Sundays because it is have decided by law. After that is good security. The new people must register with the town when they are moving and deregister when they need to leave. This includes everyone living at their area address. Some might worry about that as a lack of privacy, but it is a good because the theft almost impossible since they might know who lives at the area and all the places as they have registered and they registered with the town. Okay, for the next country is Sweden. In Sweden, there are laws that prevent employees from firing anyone they want and that require them to keep the unions informed on plan changes in organization. It is to secure the employee's job and to make sure that employees did not get fired easily. Next is respect each other. The people in Sweden are very liberal when it comes to tolerance of different views and beliefs. It is because people in Sweden is very respect each other and did not force their own beliefs on others. Their society is behaving politely, keep the voice down, and they do not go overboard in any kind of way. With that, it makes everyone will treat each other with full of respect and they will live in peace together.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Husin. So right now I will proceed to the next point in parties involved, which is cooperation. Okay, so in terms of cooperation, there are many liberal countries which cooperate with each other for the benefits of their country. And cooperation can be an important tool to strengthen the relationship between the countries, and it will promote prosperity and less conflict will occur. Less conflict will occur. Less conflict will occur if they cooperate with each other. And cooperation also can make the countries share knowledge and exchange their opinion regarding the matters that that involve them. Okay, so for the first example of countries which cooperate with each other is United States and also United States and Canada. Okay, so United States have cooperate with Canada in so many things. They have cooperate in security and defense, and mostly they working in solving the international issues. For example, combat terrorists and also money laundering. Okay, so according to the official website of United States, United States and Canada have shared the longest international border, which is 5,525 miles, and with 120 land port, and they have worked side by side in an organization which called North American Aerospace Defense Command. So this organization was first introduced by United States, and then Canada have joined this organization, and the function of this organization is to protect the airspace between these two countries, and they protect the airspace from any attacks from terrorists or any suspicious activity occur in their airspace. Other cooperation is in terms of education, where United States and Canada have shared the supports in Fulbright program. Okay, so Fulbright program is an exchange program involving the students and mostly involves students and teachers, and this program was introduced by the United States, and the Canada has been offered to participate in this program, where Canada will transfer some of their students, teachers to the United States to gain some knowledge about education and about any other knowledge. Until now, there are 25,000 students from Canada which has transferred to the United States higher education institution, and in that country the students have gained so many knowledge, and the American have had these students to gain their knowledge to facilitate them in terms of education. And since 2013 also, there are at least 15 participant of Canada which has transferred to the United States, and they joined the program of Youth Ambassador program. Okay, so the other examples of the countries which cooperate with each other is New Zealand and ASEAN. Okay, ASEAN is a regional organization which consists of 10 ASEAN countries, which is Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, Brunei, Singapore, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, Philippines, and Myanmar. Okay, so ASEAN was established on 8 August 1967, and it promotes the economic, political, security cooperation among themselves. And ASEAN and New Zealand have become ASEAN dialogue partner, and New Zealand also have made a joint declaration with ASEAN to show that New Zealand have cooperated with ASEAN. New Zealand has been an active participant in ASEAN Regional Forum. Okay, so what is ASEAN Regional Forum? ASEAN Regional Forum is a consultative forum which aims to consult matters that involve political and security of the region. So ASEAN Regional Forum also discuss to minimize the threat to ensure the stability and peace of the country, and they will discuss on how to solve the problems, and they will exchange the opinion among themselves, and this forum also build the confidence for the states to voice out their problems. New Zealand actively participate in several activities in this ASEAN Regional Forum, and one of them is New Zealand has been a co-chair in the Plus Expert Working Group on Maritime Security. So it will promote the security defense of the countries. In aspect liberalism main concern is to protect the individual freedom, and also to promote the peace and stability in the country. It also to maximize the prosperity and minimize the conflict among the countries. Okay, for the countries which practice the liberalism, in order to prevent war, they make the cooperation with each other. And as shown in the previous examples, liberalism exists in this international cooperation, where the countries cooperate with each other to prevent the conflict and emphasize the peace and stability. It also shows that the liberals it also shows that they practice liberals when they accept the idea of other countries by supporting and participating in activities they had made. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, my name is NURUL BINTI SYAHARUDDIN. Okay, next I will present about suggestions of liberalism. Okay, the first one is establish lasting cooperative relationship where it can bring a peaceful situation that we come out that they will come up with fair and satisfaction. For example, we can see through the governments Malaysia and transgender society, where they're having a discussion, and they will having discussions, and in the discussion they will decided what the both party want and do not want. So from that we can see we can see that they will having a cooperative, and with that cooperative they will create a fair foundation, and the both party will be satisfied. Okay, second is perpetual peace state. Perpetual peace state will perpetual peace state. So when this happen, it can avoid war and misunderstanding, because sometimes when having a war or misunderstanding, it can make the state become more harmful for the people, because when the both party is not satisfied, or both party are not satisfied, or having internal or external intentions, it can harmful people surrounding, including society and other people. For example, we can see we can take from the Islam Liberal. So we know that Islam Liberal is an organization that it is from Islam, but it's an organization like more will harmful people. So from that, having a meeting or freedom of speech in the state is very important. So because freedom we can take from the freedom of speech, where freedom of speech actually is very important. So when having a freedom of speech, the organization like Islam Liberal, they can voice out their voice. So from that, the government will take attention what actually this organization needed. So from that, the government will come out with idea or plan to find a solution to solve this problem. So I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Next, the role of scholars and intellectuals by Islamic perspective. It will be a greater contribution to the religion and the Muslim community as a whole. The scholars, Islamic thinkers, and Muslim professionals are now able to trigger a collaboration between their respective efforts to bring about the reform in society and conduct an in-depth review of Islamic tradition in this regard. It was found that individual opinion can lead to extreme division among a Muslim, with each claiming the validity of the opinion. Therefore, it can be said here that the principle of the individual freedom of liberalism does not coincide with the teachings of the Islamic. More importantly, it can be said that this personal interpretation is not necessarily correct based on the precise rules in understanding the text revelation. So we review the next point, which is the construct institution that protect individual freedom by limiting checking political power. Liberalism is a great progressive ideology or philosophy in this world political and economic system. In the sense of etymology, liberalism is a political philosophy that gives the value of the freedom to the individual as well as the responsibility of the state that should be protect and guarantee the rights of its citizens. Literally, liberalism is closely related to the broad view that refers to ideologies that value to the freedom of the individual in terms like holding, acting, and expressing opinion in their own way and choice.
Restricted government is one of the main principles in the philosophy of liberalism, and this concept should always be upheld in any system of government. In a democratic government, the freedom granted in the Constitution is in line with the principle of the liberalism, which wants human beings to be given space to freely act. The existence of this regulatory nature is a concept of due of rule of the law, which is also one of the main principles of the philosophy of liberalism. Human beings who were initially free but then must abide by and obey the laws created. This is because the freedom and equality provided should not be abused to the detriment of others in terms of life, health, individual freedom, and ownership rights.
Moving on to the last part of today's presentation, which is the conclusion. So basically, liberalism concept has its own advantages and disadvantages, but basically if we truly look into it, it is beneficial actually for various country and its governance, where it maintains peace and harmony, of course, among its people, and also it helps create a diplomatic relationship between countries to create allies in order to create a defense and create a backup if any threats or anything happens in the future regarding to their safety, health, and condition. So basically, liberalism is a concept that should be taken into consideration by many countries, including Malaysia actually. But it must have some limitation, because too much liberalism can eventually leads to a downfall of a country, because it means that the governments are losing their own power because of the needs and wants of the majority of their people, citizen, and also of their allies. So basically there needs to have some kind of border, of which the limitation shall not be passed, and not being the liberalism had its own limits in the country, in their own practices. So basically it is good of liberalism because it creates a unity in the people and creates a beautiful bond between the government and their people, and also with their allies, where they are being very, very moral in accepting and taking into account and the ideas and approaches of other peoples into their own. So basically, liberal is good, but it has a limit to the amount, to the extent of the usage of the concept of liberalism in a country. That's all. Thank you.